Hey y'all, back again. This is part 2. If you didn't see the previous part, you didn't miss just a whole lot. All I did was show you some of the ideas that I was going to use on the Regency style cap hat base, how I was going to decorate it. And I got to this part. I finished my 2 little pink flowers, and these are just to tuck in with some of the other pieces I'm going to use. And I finished this piece. This is going to be the brim piece. What I've done is I have gathered both edges, both straight edges, long edges I guess, just with glue. It's almost as if it's a sleeve, a cap sleeve or a poof sleeve like that. And then what I'm going to do is now attach it with glue, because this is just for a fun project. I'm not trying to make a hat somebody's going to wear. I'm going to attach it to the brim, first on the top, and then I'm going to bend it, fold it over, and attach it underneath, so that the top and the bottom of that brim are going to have this piece on it. When I got it finished, I kind of played around with it. Let me show you what I did. It was not quite like this when I finished it. I pulled away from each other, and I pulled it like this to see if it, basically was going to do what I wanted it to do. And this looks great. This is lovely. In fact, it was so nice, I thought, well, my goodness, how about I do the top of the cap with something like that? And so I think I'm going to do the top of the cap, but I'm going to do it a little differently with this piece over here. And my original idea of using this for the brim is what I'm going to go with. So I know I have enough, but what I want it to do is I want it to fold in the middle and then turn my curve that I have. And so I'm going to start on one end, and again, y'all, if any real hat makers happen to find this video, do not leave me messages. That's the wrong way. I don't want to hear it. This is glued for fun. This is a fun project for me and for those of you who like to work with glue and lace, because that's what I intend to do, is just to have fun with it. So I'm going to start on the top edge here of the brim, and I'm literally, y'all, I am just throwing some glue on here and tacking it down. I'm going to go to the opposite side now, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And ultimately this whole piece is going to be glued on, and it's going to, I'm going to just work my way around it, basically, knowing full well that I am covering up a lot of spots in the future, raw edges and such, with other things. Right now I'm just wanting it to cover the brim kind of equally. So that's about the center. Get that one glued down right in here, and then just ease everything into its natural spot, because it seems to kind of be wanting to do its own thing. It just kind of is laying there right where I want it anyway. So I'll just tack it down with some glue. Guess I could use this and really get that down in there. Okay, then I'm going going to fold it over. And I'm going to take particular care at this point to kind of even things around as I do this, so that I'm not doing something that looks bad on the top. I want the top to be the prettiest part. And I have no doubt that the inside of that's going to be pretty too. And don't forget, y'all, I used that cereal box right there for the underside. I've got a lot of extra fabric right in here that I'm not going to worry about. It's going to be inside and covered up. See, it's going to be covered up with something right there. So don't worry about the excess. I'm not going to see it. So I'm not going to worry about it. And after I glue it in here, I may be able to just cut the extra off so it doesn't make it horribly lumpy. Let's see, if I just hold that here, feel that brim. Make sure I don't change the brim of the cap shape too much, because I do want that to come up. What do y'all think? That doing it? Let's try it and see. I'm going to do the middle here first. And glue that down. Some of the ladies out there on YouTube, I've noticed, I was watching some videos in the wee small hours of the morning. Y'all are going to cringe, some of you hat making ladies, at the way I'm doing this. And I apologize if that is upsetting to you as a hat maker. I'm not a hat maker. I just like to make pretty stuff for fun. Manipulate this fabric right in here. I think I am going to be snipping some of that off. It's just too much. If I can get that to glue down halfway decent right through here, then I'll be able to cut what I don't want on there. Make sure I'm getting it kind of even looking. Yeah, nothing out of bounds or anything. Get that down. Yeah, this one little piece right here I can cut. I think I'll do the same right through here. Kind of get rid of some of that bulk. And I definitely want to make sure I have everything tacked down so that I'm not going to have any surprises later as I'm working on it before I finish off the inside of the hat. Some of these other little spots tacked down where I cut it. Okay, that's the brim. Pretty cool, if I do say so myself. I'm pleased with this. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I'm going to reshape it. Since I've still got warm glue on here, let me reshape this a little bit. Get that back in the shape I'm hoping for. And I'm going to set this part aside for a minute. Maybe that'll hold it. And I'm going to show you the piece that I'm going to use on the top, on the cap part. I don't know if I'm getting this all in the video or not. I'm going to try. As I cut it, it was a raw piece I had cut off of the skirt of a wedding dress. And it's the same material I'm using for the brim. And as I cut it, it came off kind of at an angle like this. So I was cutting around it and trying to figure out what I was going to do for the cap part. This just kind of showed up. All of a sudden, I cut that. I decided I needed a little arc here, and this is kind of what it ended up being. So, this is what I'm going to go with. I think trying to hold it up to the brim piece. I can't tell that there's a front or a back, so we're just going to call that the top, the front. On this rounded edge at the top, I'm going to use it around this rounded edge. If I'm a perfectionist, which y'all know I'm not, I would perfectly count how many of these I'm going to do on each side of the cap center and get them even around. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to eyeball it and pop it on here. So I want to make sure I have enough easement around here to go all the way around this part of the brim. And so I'll just keep my eye on it and see how it does. Now I'm going to make these larger. First little section I'm going to fold under. And then I'm going to make these little gathers larger, further apart than I did on the brim piece. And I am going to have them all going the same direction, because ultimately when I get the decoration on the hat, I'll be able to cover up one side of the hat. It's only going to be on one side. I believe I'm going to decorate above the left ear with the flowers. So that these that I call them ruffle gathers. These gathers can just go the same direction. And I'm going to stand up real quick and make sure the camera is actually on, because I don't think I looked. Yes, it's on. So much in my head, and I want to remember everything, and then I don't look at the camera to see if it's on. That's silly. This fabric it's got a beautiful sheen to it, and it happens to also be great. Just enough glue seems to work its way through the fibers that I don't have to glue extra. I just fold it and squish it, and it's holding together very nicely. Let's see what I've got now. And if I have to, I can always redo it, because it's just glue. And I'll have plenty. Yeah. I'm very thankful for those of you who have given me the names of the hat making materials that I'm supposed to really have work with, because my little idea with felt and cereal box is just not going to work. It was not enough stability, and I can tell now as I'm working on this little hat that it's not going to sit right. it's really going to need some extra. So I am going to put an order in for some buckram, and hopefully it will get here quickly. And the interior of the hat I will finish at a later date. Finish it off at a later date. And when the buckram comes and I learn how to use it, I'll show you that too. On the second hat I have over here. And who knows how I'll decorate that one. Oh, I meant to get my tablet out and show y'all the picture of that hat that I was talking about on Pinterest. I have it right here, but I don't know how quickly I can find that. Let me let this sit now that I've gotten all the way across. And I want to turn that edge back so that it's not going to be raw. Let me grab this real quick and see if I can't find that real fast for you. I saved it to my gallery. Bear with me just a second. Now, this is the back of the hat, and I'm going to hold it. I don't know if y'all will be able to see it or not. That's the back of the hat I fell in love with. And then there's a side view. Isn't that exquisite? Okay, so that's my mojo here. This is my inspiration. I'm not going to come up with something that's going to look that good. This is by no means going to look like that. But the inspiration for the color scheme, for the pieces I've chosen are coming from that right there. I think it's gorgeous. Oh goodness, if I owned that little hat, I'd make a reason to wear it. Okay, I'm going to want to come under and then go around. So I'm going to just kind of hold it and see what I get. Okay, I need that to come further. I'm not going to worry at all about the bottom part of it. I'm going to work up here at the top part of it, or the forward part of it. I'll just start with tucking that center right about here. I'm going to stick it over where I've already glued the brim piece, because that's going to get covered. Then I'm going to work it right over that, all the way around to that edge. I'm going to try, pull that just a little tighter, and then I'm going to turn that over that edge there. That'll work. Okay, same thing on this side. I'll be putting a pretty something or other across this ridge of raw materials and covering that up. And then I'll fold this little piece here over and cut off the excess, because don't need all that over there. Okay, there's that. I do not like extra glue. Yuck, it'll be covered, don't worry about it. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. Now I know why they work on forms. You know what I mean? A hat form to work on. That would be nice. Okay. Now, since I went to the trouble to make all of these little gathers, pleats, whatever you call them. I don't think that's a real pleat, but anyway. I'm going to try to maintain some of those as I work to the back of the hat. And then I want it to tuck under. Of course, I'm not going to keep all of that wad of material underneath here, but I do want to try to get these ridges of the fabric to stay this way, so that the cap part of the hat will have these lovely ins and outs of gathered fabric. Can you imagine? I always read those Christian romance books from the Old West, and there's always my favorites are the ones that have the seamstresses or the milliners in it, the hat makers, and all the stuff that goes on in town around them, and eventually the love that comes into their life. But anyway, I'm picturing in my head as I'm doing this the old days with the dust flying everywhere in the West, and this little hat maker sitting in her shop working with beautiful materials, making every ridge and everything just right. Not like I'm doing, but what do you think? Are we getting there? I think we're getting there. Okay, I'm going to hold that and try to decide how I'm going to do this over here. I think I'm going to glue just a little bit at a time and then give it a snip, because I like the shape of the fabric on the other side, and I don't want that to change. And I know this is like not professional at all. We're just going to glue it down, y'all. Give it one more shot of glue, and then I'm going to snip some of that. Okay, I'm going to hold this down where I want to glue it. Hopefully get it glued down before I lose what I like. Boy, think if they had glue guns back then. Boy, they would have been going into... We'd have a lot more hats today to enjoy. I can't imagine sewing gobs of materials the way they did into these gorgeous shapes and stuff. The time and... Oh, good night. I'm surprised they didn't all go blind. That is a lot of work to sew things by hand. And there was a time I really enjoyed sewing by hand, but my eyesight is not like what it used to be, and I get extremely tired. My back kills me if I'm sewing, it seems. Sewing seams. Anyway, I'm going to snip some more of this off as I come around to this last edge. Just glue that down right here. Then I'll come back around after I snip all this off and glue what I've missed this first time around. Okay, get that out of the way. I'm going to glue down all of these little ridges that are extra and sticking up and all that, because I'm not going to want to, I don't want any of that to start pulling out like I just did right there. And again, after I finish the whole hat on the top part, I'm going to come back and I will put something in here to cover this bottom. But I'm not going to do it until I get an order of that buckram stiffener stuff. And I'm going to probably add a piece of it in here, like right in here, to hold the shape of the hat, like that. Okay, I'm going to work a little bit on the top, because I don't like that part right there. I want it to be a little fuller this direction. Yeah, that looks more like it. What do you think? I'm excited. I'm kind of liking it. Okay, I'm going to finish anything in here that's a little loose. Maybe tuck down a few more of these with a little bit of glue to hold those shapes. I know I'm getting my fingers in the glue a lot today. I'm working with my low temp glue gun, which this is the one I always work with. And it's chilly down here today, and I'm a little cold. Therefore, I'm not having a problem with getting burnt like some days. So if you see me jab my finger in glue, don't worry. It's kind of cold to me today, and my fingers are cold. I've also learned that if I do jab my finger in hot glue, probably one of the quickest and easiest ways to get that temperature down real fast is to stick it on your silicone mat. And I don't I don't keep a glass of water, which I should actually. Y'all probably have seen that. If you keep a glass of ice water sitting handy, that's the best way to keep from having burns when you do, because you will stick your finger in the glue. Okay, there's the top, the brim, and the base is now covered. I'm going to call this part covered, and I'm ready to start trimming it out. So, this is so fun. It turned out just how I envisioned it, with all these little gathers here across there, and then some bigger gathers across the top. And I'm real thrilled with that. Okay, I'm going to stop this video. It's easier and quicker for me to upload if I keep them shorter, so that's why I'm stopping. And there will be another one.